It's Wednesday, and it's time for our cult meeting, aka Wizard Wednesday. This is Elf,
and Dota,
channeling in from the Quantum Downs. Considering that the cult of Scientology has tax exempt status, I asked Dota if we could get that too in our last Wizard Wednesday. In a parallel dimension, we did indeed do this. With this extra money, we got Magus Wazir his own bell tower, with a bell so large it's become the eighth wonder of the world. Zela Sol throws eyes wide shut style parties. O has a library full of rabbits, all named Cheeky Bastard. Magus Devon keeps us well stocked with quantum mushrooms. Bear Snake is opening doors all over the world. And Meme Lord Loch Ness is the metaverse Banksy with memes in every digital corner. I myself am running through a field of daisies. And Dota, what are you doing in this parallel universe? Making puppets, I presume?
Oh, I've got to share some photos of my puppets. I even have like a super embarrassing video.
I'm sure it's not that embarrassing if you're making puppets. Okay, Bear Snake, are you able to talk now?
He's coming. Okay. He's a speaker. Yeah. He's muted.
Yeah. Damn it, Bear Snake. On all days, this had to be the day you're having technical difficulties. Usually we can't shut you up.
Maybe he's been silent. A dark horse doesn't want him to speak, so they put a silent spell on him.
Who's silencioed Bear Snake?
I'm having some connectivity issues.
That's all right, buddy. I heard you say that. Try. Let me hear you talk. Oh boy!
Why don't you just move on and we'll let him talk when he gets up here? Go ahead. We got plenty.
Yeah, we've got plenty to cover today. Yeah. Okay, so if you guys haven't noticed, our Twitter profile has reached, I think it's almost at 11,000 now. We almost, I think we gained like about 1,000 followers in about 24 hours. And I think Coinbase might have something to do with that. Dota, you gave an interview with them yesterday. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, it was really, really fun. We're super thankful to them for giving us a platform and talking. You know, I think one of the ideas that we get to talk about there that was really interesting, I'll share now. We'll dive into it as we wait for Bear Snake to get his mic figured out.
Yep.
I've been thinking a lot about this idea around the concept of like derivative art and how NFTs make derivative art like more interesting. How there's new opportunities for derivative art in ways that didn't happen before. And I think a big part of it comes down to this idea of like plagiarism versus citations. And so if you think of it in terms of like writing a paper, right? If you copy a paragraph from that someone else has written and you paste it into your own paper, well, that's kind of considered plagiarism. But then if you cite them properly, then that is, research. Then you've cited someone because you're not sort of taking credit for someone else's work as your own.
Yep.
And I think you see that scientific advancement goes really far when you have like a culture where you can build on each other's like research and writings. Similarly, you see this with code all the time, right? Like there might be a library that has like 10,000 lines of code. If I need something different from it, I can take that, I can change it. I can change 100 lines and I can publish my own version. And nobody bats an eye twice. In fact, that's how open source is built. Open source is built on everyone building on each other's work, sharing, remixing, redistributing. And it works because there's a really clear attribution chain. You can always see who wrote the original lines of code, right? You can go back and find which lines of code, Satoshi wrote on Bitcoin or Linus wrote on Git. And so that open source revolution just completely changed how software is developed, and that you had these layers of like innovation built on top of it. Okay, so how does that bring us to NFTs, which is I think that like what you actually see is the same thing with derivative punks, like fast food punks or, vegan punks or whatever. You actually have, it doesn't make the original punks actually less. Like in the old world, maybe you'd say, oh, you're stealing my artwork, or you need to pay me for anything that you create based on my work. But with NFTs, we have this like very clear cryptographic attribution chain. And so it actually lets us kind of build onto this new innovative like open source art in a way that wasn't really possible before. So I think one, that's interesting. I'm really excited to see where that goes this year. And then two, I think, we for sure want to encourage that with Wizards. I think we have a couple of projects and maybe derivative Wizard collections coming up. And I want to say publicly too, if anybody's interested in kind of putting those things together, we're happy to talk and help organize. But more importantly, I think it's a really interesting trend that we are seeing in NFTs and particularly Wizards.
Yeah, I've got a good segue to bring Bearsnake in on that. So what stood out to me, what you just said, is how like this open source ethos is alive and well in the scientific community and in the coding community. And the result of that is projects get stronger, research is better, and end goals are more fruitful, I guess. Um, and to my knowledge, nobody has ever built like a fantasy world in this decentralized open source way. So that's what's super cool about us. I will say that this 60-second animation that we're doing right now, I put a lot of ideas that were sourced straight from the community into this 60-second piece. And so I can't wait for you guys to see it. I imagine you guys are gonna dissect this whole thing and like figure out all the Easter eggs and where each image came from. Um, but speaking of animation, Bearsnake, are you available now?
I was stuck in a quantum shadow. There was a bit of an interruption. I broke out. Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
Hey, guys. So yeah, I mean, I think like just speaking to what the guys are saying, I think really, as you guys know, we strive to become more than just an NFT project. I think we're already sort of achieving that in a lot of ways. Lore, not floor. I think the announcement today really is a big step forward for us as a project, and I think it speaks to sort of where we're headed. And so it just was announced, and there'll be a bunch of different sort of outlets covering it. But we announced that we're in proper development of a long form animated television show. We've partnered with Titmouse Animation, which is probably the preeminent animation studio in Hollywood. They produce some of your favorite animated shows. They do The Legend of Vox Machina, which is coming up. It's a fantasy show. They do Big Mouth. They've done Super Jail. They do Star Trek Lower Decks. These guys are the best in class animation. And what this really means is we are on a path now to have a proper television show. And of course, we happy to like answer any questions. But really, what's great about this is a lot of times people set up projects in TV with partners that really just facilitate the production of it, and they just help you make it. And it's sort of you pay them and they do it, and that's that. I think what's special about this is a shout out to Chris Pronowski, who is the founder and an old friend of mine of Titmouse. And I over the years we've sort of danced and tried to do some projects together. I emailed him about Wizards months ago, and within like 2 minutes wrote me back, was like, I'm in, let's go. So I think there's a passion here for fantasy. There's a passion to do new things, to sort of break the mold. And we couldn't be luckier to have them as a partner. These guys deliver the best in class. And the style that we're going to be going after, I think you guys will see when we release the trailer. But I have goosebumps. I'm so excited. I don't think there's any project out there that has really put this kind of force behind an actual show. And I think again, it's one sort of step in a direction, in many directions, that we're going to be taking the world of Wizards. And I am like, if I was physically able to do a backflip, I would, but I'm not that coordinated or strong. But it is so exciting. We'll be casting voices, we'll be developing it, and ultimately, and we want to hear from you over the next couple weeks and months, where you guys would like to see this show. I think what's going to be really interesting is typically when you take a show out to market, you kind of like put your pitch together and you go to Netflix and you go to Hulu and you go to Amazon and you go to HBO Max and all these Fox and you say, hey, this is the show. What do you think? I think for us, really, our position is I don't want to ask permission. We don't want to ask permission to do anything. It's do you want to be a part of where we're going? Because if you don't want to do it, someone else is going to want to do it. And I think that's only possible because of everybody that's on this call. That's everybody that has supported the project from day one and all the new people that are flooding in. So we're really proud of it. And literally, it's a lot of people say this like in a lot of regards, but it is literally not even possible without everybody that's a part of this community. So I hope everybody's as excited as we are. There will be, more updates. We'll be bringing in writers and packaging it. And what's also cool is Titmouse actually has a first look deal at Netflix. So anything that they develop, they kind of have to take to Netflix first. And Chris was like, it might be a slight wrinkle, but is it okay that we have a first look deal at Netflix and we'd have to go to them first? And I said, I am totally fine with going to Netflix first. So it's really exciting. And let's fucking go.
Yeah. So yeah, if you look at our Twitter, I think we just posted it. The article is in, I think it's Animation World Network. And I'm hoping other places will pick it up, but Animation World Network got the exclusive. And I just want to say that this would not have been possible without Bear Snake. This is why we brought Bear Snake in.
Yep.
I mean, I personally have a few loose connections around town, but Bear Snake is really the one who opened the door on this one. And so I just want to thank him publicly. I know Dota's been very happy with Bear Snake's contributions as well. So thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
To the moon.
And also what Bear Snake said about like we couldn't have done this without the community. Yes, that is huge. One of the biggest difficulties, one of the hardest things to do in the entertainment industry is to get a studio to take a gamble on you, especially if you're unknown, especially if you have a brand new project that nobody's heard about. It's nearly impossible. And so if you can walk
10,000
in
characters.
What's that?
I said, with 10,000 different characters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Especially with something weird like that, they're not going to know what the hell to do with it. But if you can walk into the room with like, hey, we've already got an audience, we've already made money on this, we've already done this and that with a project that's already big and well loved, then if you walk in the room with that and a Bear Snake next to you, then they'll start listening.
It's super exciting and so much more to come, but this is a big one for us.
Yeah, check out the other work if you're not familiar with Titmouse, because I know that like I'm an animation outsider and I was familiar with some of their work but not them as a studio, and like check out some of their work. I shared some in the Secret Tower. They are like they're the best and they can do tons of different styles. I think one of the styles that you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the styles I've seen from them that's fairly similar to what we would be going for with Wizards would be like their Legend of Vox Machina. I mean, it's not one-to-one exactly. It's a different show, but you can for sure see and that like similarities in sort of the style that we're going for. Do you want to talk about the style a little bit, Elf, just so folks kind of like people will ask, oh, is the show going to be in pixel art? And I think the answer is no, but maybe it's worth like talking about.
Yeah, it's not actually gonna be, let me look at this Legend of Vox thing.
Oh yeah, sorry, I shouldn't. I'm speaking as an outsider, which is like it's not gonna look like Big Mouth or something. Like it's not like the Simpsons of
I mean
Wizards.
it's similar. It's the show that I keep referencing is Castlevania on Netflix. I really love the style of that show. A lot of people in the industry call it American style anime. So I'm sort of hoping to get more closer to that looking style. But yeah, I mean, we're already working with Titmouse on this 60-second piece right now. We're developing it. We're developing the look. We're doing the storyboards. Like that is definitely going to happen, and it's already in production.
And it's so cool.
It's looking
like,
so cool.
Yeah, it's really
like
good.
full action packed.
Yeah.
So many Easter eggs, and yeah, it's pretty rad.
And one thing I'm trying to really do with this is sort of subvert the fantasy genre, because fantasy is very popular. It's been popular for a long time, and my biggest fears is that an audience or a studio is going to just look at it and think, oh god, not another fantasy thing. So like I'm really trying to like invert all the tropes in fantasy and just like really push it into new territory. So yeah, it's I think we're achieving that as I look at the production of this thing. Um, but yeah, so yeah, amazing news. We had Coinbase last week. We have Titmouse this week. What are we going to have next week?
We got something.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We gotta have something.
We got to make something big happen.
Yeah. I haven't finished Souls yet. I gotta get that done.
Oh, just so everybody's know, if Dota sounds a little strange, he mentioned to us on a team meeting yesterday that he's turned into dev Dota for the next 2 weeks. So he's very busy, heads down on creating and crafting the most epic smart contracts to make sure everything works properly.
Yeah, thankfully the smart contracts are just about done. Also, Niski's been helping out a ton. He's been like really instrumental in this process. He's doing a great job.
Let's actually pause and open up for any questions about this recent news. Anybody want to ask questions? If you want to speak, just request. And if not, then we will move on.
Yeah, plenty to cover today.
Cool. You know what? Actually, I was going to invite Dr. Slurp up. Dr. Slurp, if you're in if you're in this room, just oh wait, is he requesting? Nope. But we got someone else. Tyler, hello.
Hey, what's up, guys? In light of that news, how's the script for the show going to be handled? You guys going to bring someone on, or you're also going to take ideas from the different wizards? How I know it's really early, but how do you anticipate that being handled?
Yeah, so let me just say a few things about that, and then Bear Snake, you can add in. I've always said from the beginning what I would love to do is cult source our stories as much as possible, with the Book of Lore being like the first place we stop with in every writers room meeting. Um, the first rule is like we never just like make up a wizard out of whole cloth. We pull a wizard from the collection and put them in a scene. And if that wizard has any lore written about it, then we would love to try and incorporate that into the story. There's no guarantee it'll be like a one-to-one match of what a cult member has written about their wizard, but if we can like pull little bits and pieces, I think that's my goal as far as the writing process.
Yeah, I think we look at it like source material. Like when you take a book, when you option a book and you develop it into a show, not every single piece goes in. Some pieces that do go in maybe are shifted to make sense for the arcs and the stories and the characters. But one sort of major piece of it that will be fun, is always fun, is like finding because Elf has experience in television, right? I have experience in television. We both like have been on the executive side and on the writing side. And so I think one thing that we would do is, because we want to make sure that our focus is on the project like horizontally across all the things that we're going to be doing and are doing, is bringing in what we call a showrunner. And that is someone who comes in, who's run writers' rooms before on other shows, created other shows, are trusted people that can sort of do the day to day. Obviously, working closely in conjunction with Alf, Dota, and I, the team, to make sure it's like fits in the proper direction. But essentially, we will find someone like a proper television writer who will lead the charge and help work with us and translate what's happening in the world of Wizards into this television show. I also, and I don't know, we've discussed it, I don't know what the implications are, but like I love the idea of, back to we always talk about Disney, and like the closest you can get to a character that Disney owns, like a Marvel character, Thor, Captain Marvel, whoever. But the closest like you can get to like having a piece of that is like buying a share in Disney. For us, like I would love to figure out a way to say, okay, if a wizard shows up in a show, how do we tie back value back to that wizard owner, or to the group, or to the community at large?
Yep.
So it's definitely something that we want to crack the code on. It's complicated, right? If you have a room of writers and they're just coming up with stories, like I don't think any of them are going to be able to own wizards, right? Because then they're going to like want to put their own wizards in there, and it increases their value. But I do think like we'll come up with a way to organically choose characters and storylines that are random but also fit the stories we want to tell, and then how do we bring value back to that wizard holder or the community? So that would literally put the entire sort of ecosystem of how TV and film and entertainment works with IP literally on its head. It would melt it down, and we'd be rebuilding it, which is one of the most exciting parts.
Yep.
And there's a lot of like legal and legislative challenges to doing that, right? Like, I mean, I think there's an uphill battle there that might take quite a long time to get that to work out. Like, and so
yeah, I'm
I think
I'm not promising it, but I'm just saying it's something that we strive. It would be cool to do.
It's something that we're thinking about. Yeah, that we're like pushing on. That we would love to be able to do.
Cool. Any other comments, questions about this animation news?
Yeah, there's a bunch of new people who came up. I saw Keto. We've got.
I just wanted to say
Matrix,
that Bear Snake answered. I had like 4 questions and he answered all of them. So thank you so much. I don't own a wizard yet, but I love the project, and I'm just here to learn, and just awesome art, and I'm really excited for you guys. I'm looking to pick one up. So
awesome. Welcome to the cult.
Thank you guys. You can put me back as a listener so other people can speak. All my answers were, or all my questions were answered. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everybody.
Hi,
I'm so excited that the hair is standing up on the back of my neck. I'm so proud of you all. I'm moved. I'm profoundly moved, and you should all be so proud of yourselves, and particularly Bear Snake, for all the work that you've done behind the scenes. My question is, well, basically, is about the rights to use the writing in the Book of Lore, because I wanted to say and put myself on the record right now that you guys can have complete rights to use anything that I've written for Wizard in the TV show. But I'm just
awesome.
but I'm just wondering if you guys are going to have something for us to sign if we want to give our rights, because I would like to just gift them to the project for anything that I do, and I want to make sure that the project is protected, because I think the fact of using elements from the Book of Lore in the TV show is literally groundbreaking and history making, and I really hope that everyone else who's contributed lore feels the same way.
Right.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yep.
We are like working on kind of hashing out the legal framework of the rights that we grant to wizard holders. And you bring up a really important point, which is, to make sure that the feeling is mutual. I would guess in, 99% of cases, everyone would be thrilled to see it, their kind of work from the Book of Lore in the show. But you make an important point, which is like we have to make watertight shore, especially as we're bridging from sort of like crypto to meat space. We do want to make sure that the folks who are sharing those ideas agree to that. So, yeah, we'll do some thinking there, and thanks also for your generosity. I mean, we love your poems, and that would be really great to include them.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, I want to see Margaret the Bard in the show. In fact, Margaret, I want you to do the voice for the Bard. Let's just put it that way.
I will do that. I will 100% do that.
Awesome. Cool.
That's actually a really good idea, is like to source voice talent from the community. How cool would that be?
Yeah, totally. Um, cool. Any other questions, comments, animation?
Yes.
What's up,
Hello.
Crypto Natrix?
Hello. First, congratulations. I'm really happy for you, and I know you're like the hardest working person I know. And so this is awesome. And I feel like more urgency now to finish writing the lore for my wizards. I'm wondering if the show is going to be family friendly or like for adults.
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to push for adults for sure. It's I would love to really push it far into adult animation territory. Not family friendly. Let's put it that way.
I think there's a way. Like, I'll just chime in here, and
Yeah.
I think the best shows know how to play to different age groups, right?
Sure.
And I think, when you say adult, to me that doesn't mean all the cussing and all this stuff. I think we definitely want to be edgy, but I also think like there's a way to do both and do it in a way that's eloquent and tasteful.
Sure.
And I know that's what you mean, but I think like for me, and this skews on more of like people see it as a kid show. But for me, like I watch Adventure Time, and I enjoy that show just as much as my son. I think it's one of the best television shows ever. But like I get something out of it that's very different than my son does, and I think the reverse can also happen. My kids, my kids can also. They've never like they've been watching rated R movies since they were like 6 years old. So like I shouldn't be trusted for the bar. But I do think it should kind of be for everybody, probably not like little kids though.
Let me qualify what I just said. I'm not trying to like make gratuitous violence or graphic sex scenes in the show. It's again, I would compare it again to Castlevania. If any of you have watched that show, there's like brief nudity in it. There's foul language. There's obviously violence, but I think maybe a kid could watch some of it. I don't know. Depends on what kind of parent you are. But I think that's the level of like adult that I'm looking to do with this show.
My kids are gonna watch it.
Hell
even
yeah.
if they hate it, I'm forcing them.
Great. Cool. Well, yeah. So, Crypto Natrix, I assume you're looking to write some very Crypto Natrixy wizard lore. That's why you're asking.
Yes. I mean, it's like I'm good at like walking the line between being explicit and not explicit, like so I'm not thinking I'm not gonna write like a porn scene or anything. That's not what I'm like not trying to do that, but it's you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Yep.
Just gonna sit on a few faces.
Oh Lord.
That was a good one.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself now.
Okay, cool. Great. Well, yeah, those are great questions, guys. Let's. I wanted to bring Dr. Slurp up to just talk about something that he's been doing for us. So we've got the soul burning coming up, as many of you know. We are building the website where the soul burning will happen, and we are putting sound effects and music into this thing. Our original our original mint did not have sound effects or music, but the soul burning is going to have sound effects and music, and Dr. Slurp is doing those for us. So, Dr. Slurp, would you like to tell us about your process?
Yeah, what's up, Elf? How's it going? Can you guys hear me?
Sure can.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. So basically, Elf just came to me and was like, we want to put music to the burn. And like he was like, we want something ambient, and like kind of like something to loop over like this really cool burning animation. And I don't want to like give anything away about that, but I like one of the things I was working on was a flame sound, because obviously like we're dealing with the burn, and also like a more like musical, ambient, like spatial sound. So we like had some iteration, I made some things on my Moog matriarch. It was just really fun because like ever since I joined the Wizards, I've been making music for other wizards and groups of wizards and my wizards. So it's cool to actually like have like a sound component to the project officially, you know?
Yep.
What do you have anything you want to add to it about the process?
Well, what I thought was cool was how like some of the sound effects, I thought you were just going to like use a library of sound effects that you have, but you're actually doing all your own Foley, right?
Yeah. So like, I don't know, that's part, like I've been playing music forever, but like, and also like recording forever. But one of the things I like doing is just like making everything by hand. So like for the flames, like I tried out a bunch of things, but the thing that actually turned into the flames was giant sheets of silver foil that I ended up like processing, and like I had my fiance shake them, and she's also a wizard too. And just like random stuff from around the house, like recording it and then processing it and seeing if it sounds good, kind of stuff. And the synth parts were really fun to make too. Like that, honestly, like part of it, I was like inspired by the thrilling, chilling sounds of Halloween from Disney. Like they have this like old record from like 50 years ago, like a vinyl record where it's just like Halloween sound effects. And my dad used to put it on every year on Halloween. So that was part of the inspiration, but the other part was just like what's spooky and creepy and dark and like fills the space that Elf made. Like he sent me the burn animations and it's beautiful. Like you guys are all gonna love it.
Yep.
Like so I was just trying to like really fit that vibe. It's like kind of going like between the line of like Disney like horror sounds and like almost like King Gizzard ambient like dark metal.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things that's super annoying on the internet is if you go to a website and just suddenly music just starts playing out of nowhere, like everybody hits the mute button when that happens. But I don't think that's going to happen with this because it's so subtle and it just works, and I think you'll expect it, and I think it really adds to the experience. So
yeah. And I think most people like going to the website are like coming with a purpose to like be a part of this ritual.
Yep, for sure. And then just if nobody's noticed, the secret tower on our website has just been updated today. There's something kind of spooky happening. It's very subtle.
We're stoking the flames.
The flames have been stoked. So if you go to our website, you'll see a little change. So yeah. So thanks, Dr. Slurp. Look forward to hearing your music in the secret tower.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it while I burn.
Heck yeah. Yep. And yeah, right. and again, this is just what I love is using cult members, having them help contribute to the world building. This is decentralized world building at its finest. Cool. Okay, let's move on to another piece of drama that happened this week. Loch Ness, are you able to speak?
Yes, I'm able to speak.
Okay, so this is some drama that Loch Ness has brought to us, and it has to do with the mysterious disappearance of Wagmi-san. Loch Ness, tell us what happened.
There were murmurs coming from the land of Grails that we had something to do with Wagmi-san's disappearance. Others were so bold to accuse the cult of transforming Wagmi into a toad against his will. We'd like to go on the record and say that this is far from the truth. In fact, we spoke to Wagmi himself and confirmed that he was safe. Special shout out to the Scryers who made this possible. Our weird house was stormed by many of Wagmi's friends concerned for his well-being, and what could have turned into a brawl quickly became an alliance. Perhaps Wagmi himself is a wizard. Chalices were raised, jelly donuts were sacrificed in celebration. As the old saying goes, a wizard is never late, nor are they early. They arrive precisely when they mean to. So when Wogly needs us, we'll be there.
That's awesome. I love it. So yeah, he's still missing, but I suppose when he shows up, that will be his intent, right?
Right. Yeah. There was a lot of discourse between the Grailed Wogmi-san followers and our wizards. Special shout out to the wizards who helped us out with everything. And yeah, no word from Wogmi, but we'll be there when he needs us.
I have a question. What is the significance of the scissors?
I was just gonna ask that.
Well, they have they're like one of the only multi-use items, so I'd imagine that you're going to use them for something in particular. But they have a mark that says multi-use on them comparatively to the other items.
Okay.
Yeah, so Wogmi distributed a lot of his tools, some of which are reusables. The reusables are more rare, and very few people got them. And so no word on what we're supposed to use the scissors for, but when we get the word, we'll let you know.
Awesome. and Loch Ness, I know you don't know for sure, but I'm just going to ask you to maybe guess. Where do you think Wagmi-san is?
Well, a lot of weird stuff goes on in the weird house. But, word is he might be trying to get through the gate to the seventh realm. So.
Oh, okay. Love it. Yeah. Someday Wagmi-san will show up with a backpack full of backpacks. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was fun. The whole Wagmi-san drama. I think it's ongoing. In fact, actually, does anybody have any questions or comments about Wagmi or anything really?
Yeah, I wanted to say, I said before I pondered a little bit in the Secret Tower about it, but I think it shows a really great proof of concept of how like NFTs could be utilized in an actual game, because like there's no games that are really made yet because games take time. But this is essentially was like a quest line that was dropped down to like wizard holders, because it's like you had like the initiation for was you needed the NFT to start it, and then you got this like in order to actually like sign up for the quest, you had to get the backpack minted in like a very specific time frame. Once they had everybody in, it's like, all right, now the quest line starts. They dropped off the items to everybody, and then I can imagine that like essentially it's cooperative because they didn't give everybody all the items that they needed. So it's like you have to team up with other people and like kind of party up with people. So you got to find other backpack holders, and maybe in an actual game it would be instead of buying or selling from each other, you just like actually just party up together, and then you have like the designated scissor holder who's doing whatever the scissors need to be done for. And then you go around and like I can imagine you going into like the dark part of town trying to find Wagmi and maybe fighting some special battles there. And then maybe at the end of the quest line there's like a super special rare item that you can only get for participating in that quest line, and it's like tailored to like what your NFT is because your NFT helped made it. And then like let's say it's like magical scissors, like Mage's Devin's magic scissors or something like that. And like that item is mine. I can like, and if I traded it down the line, if I sold it like 5 years from now in the game, it would still be named after me, and it would have like my icon on it or something like that. I think like it's really awesome. It shows that like we don't have the game like any kind of games yet, but like this is just a text-based game. They use artists and writers to make the whole storyline out about it. So if you just implement it to a game, it fit perfectly.
Absolutely. Yep. This space is just so much fun. Some other people came up. Comments from the new speakers?
Hey, yeah. I wanted to ask, this might be a really normie question, but I see a lot of people talking about burning the wizards, and I just don't get it. I don't know what it means.
Yeah, it's a token burning event. Dota, do you want to talk about it?
Oh yeah, was that Flynn?
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, all right, okay. So for those of you who are just tuning in, burning your wizards. So we are just 11 days away from an event we're calling the Great Burning. So there were 1,112 flames that were distributed to the earliest holders and the earliest writers in our Book of Lore. And on All Hallows Eve, you will be able to, if you so choose, burn your Flame NFT as well as your Wizard NFT at a chance for a Soul NFT. And so the mechanics there that we've talked about is that in most cases, you will receive a soul, which is, your wizard who has been passed through the flame and the results of that process. So maybe you receive a ghost wizard, or, that said, dark magic is unpredictable, and you might get an undesirable outcome. We've told folks that the odds of getting an undesirable are probably about 1 in 10. There have been some questions, actually. Maybe this is a good time to address them. Some questions folks have asked me, and they've said, the souls, do they have affinities like the original wizards? Do the affinities match? Do the affinities match? If I burn a 5 of 5 affinity wizard, will I get a 5 of 5 soul? How does the order actually matter? What traits are going to pull through? I think we'll leave those things to be discovered by the brave souls who decide to burn their wizards. There's no time limit, and you can burn your wizard for as long as you hold the flame and the pyre is open. And really, for almost everyone, the soul that you get on the other end is uniquely your wizard. No one else can burn your wizard for you, and so there's a uniqueness to the wizard themselves that goes through.
I see.
I can tell you that, we're trying to balance pulling through balance random traits, randomness, risks, and really just have a generally good time for mostly everyone. And I know that everybody's going to use everything in their power to really snipe the rarest rare, which they should. But we're doing everything we can to make it super fun, unpredictable, fair. And I think we've started doing we're almost done the artwork, and they are just not to oversell it, but they're very good. I'm very happy with it. So so that's the deal with burning wizards.
Amazing, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would just say, some people have asked about affinities. Not every wizard is going to be like a perfect one-to-one translation. Not everything is going to carry over. Some things will, some things won't. So just, I would say it's best to err on the side of caution. I mean, as we've said all along, this is a risky business. Maybe you don't burn your favorite wizard expecting an upgrade. Maybe burn your least favorite wizard, because it's a gamble.
I don't know. Don't you think that is there an upside, Alf, for burning maybe another a wizard you love? Is there what does that look like potentially?
Well, it's just a gamble. That's all I can really say. You maybe it won't be an upgrade. Maybe a 5/5 affinity no longer has a 5/5. Look, all I would say is the basic guideline is burn something you're not afraid to lose.
I wanted to add, so it doesn't look like when Mutant Ape Yacht Club did their serums. It's not like the traits will carry over directly in a serum, and you'll get basically an altered version.
No, in some cases that will happen in the sense that the traits will carry over and you'll get an altered version in many cases. In that sense, it's true, but in another sense, it's not true in that Mutant Apes was inflationary, right? They had both the M2 and the M3 serums, and you kept your original ape. So you had, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's somewhere between 2 to 3x of the supply, right? There were 10,000 Bored Apes at the beginning, and then there was, someone else tell me, but I think the number was around 20 to 30,000 by the end of the serums being used. In this case, it's a bit different because what you're actually doing is you're burning your original wizard. You won't hold your original wizard at the end. If you choose to burn the wizard, you're burning the original wizard token, and you'll receive a soul token in return.
Okay. And the dark magic is dangerous.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay, nice.
Edward, you've got your hand up. What's up?
First of all, I have gushed over this project and this team and the other wizards many, many times and in many different places. But I mean, we all knew that something was coming, and I foolishly told everyone to expect it weeks ago. But I think the wait has been so worth it, and I'm so excited. The fact that I could possibly own four different television characters is just something that, like, it kind of blows my mind. So I'm very excited. So first of all, I want to say that.
Awesome.
And also, I have a question that's a little bit off topic, but hasn't been spoken about in a couple weeks. So I just was curious if there was a quick update on the merch box. Any thoughts, feelings, concerns, questions?
Oh, I can answer that if you guys want. Is that cool?
Go for it.
All right,
Yep.
so it is absolutely still happening. There are crazy supply chain issues going on right now. I don't know if you guys know, but Asia is literally, no one's even talking about it in the news. Asia's literally shut down. Like Vietnam, China, it's all COVID shutdown. We were we're trying to use all sort of made in the USA stuff, and we want to keep a level of quality. So, long story short, is absolutely happening. We're really, really happy with what it is and what's in the box. And I would say in the next 2 weeks, don't hold me to this, but like this is the best of our ability to hold to this timeline. Is like the next 2 weeks ish, we'll be able to show some of the pieces that are in the box, and then there'll be some other stuff maybe that will be in there, and then it will ship. And I'm thinking it's probably beginning like end of November, beginning of December that people would actually receive it. And so maybe it's something that y'all can wrap up and have under the tree or whatever you celebrate during the holidays. But it's definitely happening.
That's awesome. So what's in the box, Bear Snake?
Oh, well, that is the question. What's in the box? I don't know if you guys know that movie or that reference, but you should go see it. Seven's a great movie. Gwyneth Paltrow's head's in the box. Sorry, spoiler alert.
That's what you should expect.
Let's just say, like, there's cool stuff. There's some stuff that, like, y'all are gonna love, and why ruin the surprise?
Fair enough. I'm very excited.
Some of it too. Like we'll announce like the main bits. I don't think we'll keep too many surprises.
We're
We
excited
get in
too.
trouble.
And it'll be fun to watch people unbox. And I think part of it is, and Loch Ness has a background in this. She's done a lot of sort of these gift boxes before, so she's really put a lot of thought into the experience of opening the box. And not that like fireworks are gonna pop out when you open the box, but presentation's important to us, quality is important to us, and so like shout out to Loch Ness for helping maintain and hold that line of quality.
We want you guys to feel like influencers. So, like your wizard, wear a wizard.
It's not a glitter bomb, is it, Loch Ness?
Oh no. But there might be some jelly donut spillage around.
How funny would it be if we just sing glitter bombs?
We're using the filling as glue.
Cool. Any other questions, comments?
Yeah. Hey, can everyone hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes, hi.
So first up, congratulations. I think this is a huge step for the team and looking forward to whatever comes out of it. Second of all, I was wondering whether you folks had talked to any of the other NFT teams that had either launched or were planning on launching an animation, and whether you've sort of had the conversation of like the pain points they've run into, like regarding legal, talent, anything else that could pop up in production.
I think one of the good things is that like our team has a pretty strong background in animation. So both Elf and Bear Snake come from that industry. That's their like expertise. So we haven't necessarily like leaned too hard on other NFT projects. because we're just, relatively young, a few months, we've been like kind of conscientious of the rights issues from the beginning. And so, I don't think that we've had to lean too much on other NFT projects because we feel like the animation is actually one of the really challenging parts. And so, I don't know. We have deep expertise in that area. I don't know, guys. You want to Bear Snake or Elf? You want to talk to that?
Sorry, you cut it out. I didn't hear that. I didn't really hear the question.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and answer it. It's Bear Snake and I have worked in animation for a long time. I've had a pilot made. I've had a 3-episode miniseries made. We're not really so much worried about the pitfalls of the animation industry itself. It's more about the NFT side of it, which I don't think anybody has figured out. I mean, we even had to like switch lawyers to help figure this out at one point. So yeah, that's really what our
but we
challenges
also
are.
have like talked to some of the other projects. So like we're like acquaintances with some folks in other projects. Like I was chatting with, I don't know, G Funk from like Punk's Comics yesterday or something. So like we're like they've made some really good progress in that space. And yeah, if you know of other projects or kind of working on animation that you think we should be talking to, I'm super happy to kind of like hop in the DMs, because I think that's one of the great things about this industry is just like everything is growing so fast that like it's really about helping one another, pulling each other up. Like
Totally.
all of the NFT devs are all pretty much in like this one Discord channel, and it's great because if you have like any questions, like the person who wrote the contract is right there. And so I think similarly, as we kind of develop more interesting like IP rights and like more like as NFTs mature in this like bridging over to meat space, being able to have groups of creatives that like help each other is just so important. So yeah, happy to like talk to anyone you think is good.
Totally, 100%. And yeah, I did just mean the intersection with animation and NFTs, not specifically like anything just in the animation space. But yeah, super excited. We can talk specifics in the DMs, but yeah,
Cool.
Very excited to see where this goes.
Great. Very cool. Any other questions, comments?
While we wait for someone else to come up, I just want everybody to know, the timeline for this is, for animated projects, long form shows is quite a bit. So just be patient with us. I think a lot of projects that we love, they put stuff out and it's quick and we're so happy to see that animation as a medium is being embraced. But like when you go into this process, it's long-winded to say the least. So just know that, and know that there may come a time that we'll call on you guys to sort of help push it through. A lot of like our community has a lot of power. I think more power than they know in this world. So excited to lean on you guys when needed. So be ready.
Yeah,
Yep.
like on the show deal, this was in part of my tweet thread too, which was this idea that like the deal that we have with Titmouse is to develop and then like pitch and sell the show. And so like what that doesn't mean is it doesn't mean that we automatically have all of the funding required to do this show. Like just to throw out a number, this isn't like a budget that they've given us, but it might cost like let's say $10 million to do a full season or something. And then it doesn't actually mean that like they necessarily have like a buyer or a place for it to go either. We still sort of have to jump through those hoops of like raising money, which we're pretty sure we can do, finding a buyer, which again we're pretty sure we can do. Like, but even in the best case scenario for this show to sort of like show up in your TV is still like months. Like we're talking like 18 months in the best case scenario, because we're looking at like AAA quality, like in everybody's living room project, but of course it doesn't move at crypto speed. So there is still like, a timeline, but Titmouse is amazing. We love them. They get Wizards. They get like what we're trying to do with NFTs. They have a first look deal with Netflix. Like they get how to make, produce, organize, and sell shows. So, they like, it's going to take some time, but we're like in the most like competent hands that we could be in.
Yep. Magus Devin, what's up?
Um,
So you said you guys have said about funding. Are we going to first have a pilot, or is it going to be a full series that we're actually looking for the start?
Well,
we've already started production on a trailer.
Yep. Yeah, and we're paying for that just out of our company treasury. That it's weird to call it a trailer. I don't know what it's called. It's a 60-second short. You can think of it as a trailer. We've started that. It's in production. It's definitely happening. It's going to stand on its own right as just like this really cool piece. But like it's also going to be used to pitch the series. So, you know what? As I was talking, I just forgot your question.
Yeah, he was just asking, like, are you going to do a pilot, or like, how does this become like a full show? Yeah, and I think we don't have concrete plans for like, oh, this is how we're going to raise the money. Yep. You know, for example, I think this is like public information. I'm sure it is because it's all over the internet. So that show we were talking about with like Vox, what's it called? Vox Machina. What's it called? It's the one that's based on the D&D show. They actually raised a Kickstarter for that show. So they wanted to make it. They wanted to kind of keep control, so they need to raise the funding. So you can go and look at their Kickstarter page about how they all banded together. They did the concept art, right, and they raised a Kickstarter. And I think that they raised in their Kickstarter something like $10 million. And so, you know, that's an option. I think for us, going through Kickstarter feels kind of silly when we already have maybe sort of NFTs as kind of this like natural fundraising mechanism. But it's like so early in that process. I don't want to make any commitments in terms of timeline or mechanics or any of that, because we just like, at this point, we don't know. But, you know, as you can imagine, if we were to go out there and say like, oh, we've got, you know, this set of NFTs or these sort of like rights or this sort of derivative artwork, and if we can raise $10 million, we'll do a full season of a wizard show that will be on Netflix, and there's these kinds of rights. You know, I feel that we have very good odds that sort of crypto Twitter would come together and like, you know, we would get enough funding to at least have a bigger buyer be like interested to fund the rest, right? So I mean, that's kind of our belief at the moment.
Yeah, I'm hoping we don't have to do a Kickstarter or anything. I'm pretty sure we won't have to. The best case scenario is we get a buyer. Bear Snake, do you want to speak on that actually?
Yeah, I think in animation you typically don't do a pilot because it's not really cost effective. Sometimes they'll do like what they call a presentation where you animate, you know, 5 to 10 minutes and you have a couple scenes and people can get an understanding of what the actual show is and the characters and how it works and looks and smells and feels. So I think it's really about developing the show, bringing in a great showrunner, and then ultimately what I want to do, and I think it will be ever evolving as we all are talking about, is like what I don't want to do is I don't want to ask permission to do things. You know, I think like the Hollywood elite or the barriers to entry, these development executives that sort of get to say yes or no to things. I don't really like that, and I don't think they really even have a pulse on what people actually want to watch or not. It's like the idea used to be is like these gatekeepers used to basically use their subjective opinions of what is good and what is bad. And I think the internet as a whole has completely crushed that. And I want to continue that trend. I don't want people who don't necessarily, you know, I don't want like personal bias or opinions of one person to stop a show. And I think the more that we do on the front end to develop this creatively and then come to the table with a community, maybe funding, all of a sudden it completely like switches the table and puts us in a power position. And also it allows us to hold on to more creative power and ownership, right? Because if we just go in and we have a piece of paper, this is the show, they own everything, and they just like give you, you know, the money being made in television is much smaller than it used to be on the creator side. So if we come to the table with something that's fully functioning and we could do it ourselves, that's when they usually come in and and we get to throw our weight around a little bit more, and we get to sort of maintain creative control. So I think ultimately we'll find our way. I feel very confident that we'll get this to where it needs to be. And yeah, that's typically how it works.
Great, 100%. Thanks.
Other speakers that just came up.
Hey, I just want to say congrats to everybody, and it's a huge achievement. You should all be super proud. Hate to ask for more, but I'm curious if walk cycles are still on the radar.
Yep.
The turnarounds are sweet, but want to make them walk.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Good question. Yep.
Yeah.
They are definitely in process. It's just all the artists they have other projects going on. I'm drawing all the souls, but yes, they're definitely coming. They're definitely coming. And I'm glad you like the turns. Yeah, I wanted to say one thing about the turns is, okay, first of all, I'm loving that everybody is using them in memes and in other artworks and everything. The real point of those walk cycles is, so like at an animation studio, the senior character designer, they'll design the characters and then they'll like draw a turnaround of that character. You hand it off, and then all the other character designers in the studio, they use those to draw poses from. So if anybody wants to like use those turns to make their own poses, now you have like every single side of the wizard. You see what it looks like from every angle, and it should be much easier to draw these wizards in any kind of pose you can imagine. So that's the biggest reason why I did those turnarounds. The turnarounds also help my pixel team to do the walk cycles more easily. So yes, walk cycles are coming.
Sweet, thank you.
Yep. Ecto.eth. What's up, man?
That was me. I'm just stoked on everything you guys are
Oh,
building.
I thought it was someone named Diamond Hands who just said that. Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. How's
Hi,
it going?
Diamond Hands. Hi, Tom. Hey, good.
Hey.
Awesome.
Hey, what's up?
I don't know how I got up here. I don't know if I clicked a button or what. My phone was in my pocket, but
okay.
y'all have been amazing and excellent. Super gracious in the Discord. I do a little bit of writing for 10KTF, not a part of the team or anything, just a community member, but really appreciate all that graciousness y'all show, and it's really interesting to see those parallels in the way that y'all are moving and we're moving. And as I'm listening to you talk, I'm actually thinking the rarity of your guys' Genesis materials. You guys only got bags out of that, and as you guys do this D&D, kind of, I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, but like sounds like along that storyline, like build the story as you go. And I think it's a really interesting parallel to think about and consider there. And I just appreciate the work and all the historical writing that has been done to this point. I think we should pay a little homage to that too. So just wanted to say thank y'all. Really appreciate it.
Right on, man. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
That's a great pocket dial.
Any other speakers?
Yeah, I see Tom came up. Hey, Tom.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Dude, I am beyond stoked about this. I actually didn't even know I was on stage, but until Diamond said like he didn't know, and then I looked. Anyways, yeah, holy shit! My mind is so blown right now. It feels like I'm like hovering above my body, because if I'm understanding this correctly, like all the crap that the OG punks talk about of why they would turn down an offer for almost $10 million for their punk is just because of the rights and the options of creating a brand around that punk, like making it kind of the new controllable and verifiable who was controlling it when they said something, talent, right? So instead of an actor where you have human fallibility behind it and that actor gets canceled because they said something shitty, this is a token, and it's like, okay, well, the person who owned it at that time said something shitty, and we transferred ownership away from it, or we asked them to, and then boom, that whole character can stay the character that they are in the lore, but the human that was playing them can't fuck it up. Like Kevin Spacey fucked up House of Cards for everyone once he said he was going to diddle little boys or whatever. Like I can't even watch the show. But if it was like, well, Kevin Spacey was a robot and ownership of him has been transferred to someone who wasn't a piece of shit, who didn't diddle boys, and like, boom, House of Cards is amazing again. So I mean, like I'm gonna throw up with how big this is, and also like I'm a huge Adult Swim fan, Metalocalypse and Titmouse. So like,
Yeah,
woo!
yeah,
Unbelievable.
Metalocalypse, yeah. Well, let's just say I feel like we may need to get Robot Kevin Spacey involved in something.
That's for
Robot
sure.
Yeah, if
version,
anyone
not
wants to make Robot Kevin Spacey NFT for me, I'll totally pay for it.
yeah, not kid diddle version, right? Version.
Well, no, because it'll be me, and I don't diddle kids. You know what I mean?
I think this
But
is
then
our
if I had something
edgiest
crappy in my
episode.
life, I would have to transfer it.
The
This
show's
episode's gonna
apparently
need
going
a
to be
PG-13
adult.
rating.
Yeah, this is a TV 17 Twitter Spaces, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it should be
But-
Titmouse, right?
What's
Yeah.
up?
Well, that is kind of like Titmouse's target demographic, right?
Totally.
Yeah. They have produced like 70% of all shows probably on Adult Swim, but they do children's programming too. So they run the full spectrum. But like Big Mouth is probably one of the dirtiest shows I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And so this will be what age show or TBD? Can't say yet.
It should skew more adult. I compare it to the Castlevania series on Netflix. I think that age range, whatever that is.
Think about Game of Thrones. Think about Lord of the Rings. These are shows that skew older, but are broad enough that many people can watch it. And
Many
so
people cannot watch Game of Thrones.
Oh, I guess that's true. Game of Thrones. I'm talking about Lord of the Rings. Sorry, Game of Thrones is very adult. I guess the comp is the comp. You're so strict, Dota. No, the comp is Lord of the Rings. I think adults really take a lot from it. I don't think a little kid is going to be super interested in Lord of the Rings. I think you have to be above 12 to be watching a wizard show.
Yeah. Any other speakers comments?
Oh, we're running late today.
Yeah, we really are.
I have no idea how to get down. So can someone kick me out of here?
Come on, Diamond.
I mean, I'm willing to stay. I'm willing to hang out, but I just, I want to clear space for other people. So.
Sure. Yeah. I'm sorry we didn't get to do shout outs. We didn't get to share lore today. We're like 10 minutes over, but I'm loving these questions and comments.
Oh, maybe we should do lore. I mean, maybe we should just do lore and close it out. I feel like that's so important.
Yeah.
And if NFT DMT was going to share, right?
Yeah, I don't has he requested? I'm not sure where that person is.
I'm here, guys. If you guys have any time.
Yes.
Let's do
hello.
it. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, he's here. He's on stage.
Oh, great.
Yeah, let's do that, and then we've got to close out because we're over time.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know we're short on time, so I could kind of like read like a shorter version of it, and if anybody's interested, they can kind of just go to the Book of Lore to read the details.
It's up to you. I think, we think lore is really important, right? Lore is one of the anchors of this community, so I think take your time. But we'll just close out. If someone has to leave, they can leave. And
yeah, I don't want you to feel rushed.
Stay.
So
yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Please, yeah.
All right. Well, I guess to give you guys a preface, it's no secret that I like mushrooms, so I kind of like vibed out the other day and like let the magic flow, and I guess like the outcome was like way better than I was expecting. So I've kind of been excited to share it. So this is my preface, and it's based around illusionist Gaspard of the Oasis, but I managed to like somehow also tie in like all my other characters as well. So I don't know, it turned out pretty cool. So I'll just start. Here's the preface.
Love it.
Yeah, it's called Alpha and Omega. Since the beginning of time, there have been whispers of the Garden of Eden. Whispers of a place where nirvana exists. Whispers of a place where peace, love, and harmony resonate in abundance throughout the astral planes. Whispers of a place where Mardi Gras never ends. The Oasis, a dream within a dream. In this state, time and space are one. Thought forms and manifested into physical matter right before your very being. This is the spirit world where our souls are left to frolic and play freely without the physical limits or judgments of a human vessel. True free will. This is the place where energy itself was conceived and manifests its presence on the physical plane as a human's thoughts and imagination. Purity still exists here. All souls are in an eternal childlike state, yet within them contain secrets of the universe older than time itself. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. All source of knowledge, power, and inspiration comes from this space within time. It is the fountain of youth that legends are told of. As you'd imagine, the primordial souls that inhabit this plane are both wise and highly advanced. These souls are our ancestors, the first wizards to experience life and death, the first spirits to leave Oasis and have a physical existence. They understand what it's like to be human because they are the first. They've reincarnated time and time again, accumulating infinite amounts of knowledge and experience with every life lived, only resurrecting again in order to restore peace and harmony on Earth. But, as with every great tale, there is a problem. Each time a soul is born, it forgets its previous lives, thus forgetting all knowledge and purpose in the process. The ancestors needed to create a solution to this problem and did exactly that. They figured out a loophole. Our ancestors were able to figure out that if they built a monument while they were alive that would stand the test of time and be around for them during a multitude of lifetimes, that each time they reincarnated, their previous monument left would trigger all past life memories upon contact. Our ancestors discovered the first save point, the first checkpoint in a sense. Thus, pyramids were born. A great tool used for remembering their higher selves, who they truly are, and why they returned to this planet. And then I kind of go to like this mini pilot, and I called it "As Above, So Below." This is how it starts. One day, balance is broken. A great evil is brewing in the universe. A new hero must be born from the soul of an ancestor. This timeline tells the tale of an illusionist Gaspard of the Oasis. While the ancestors are living in harmony on the astral island of Oasis, the menacing Order of the Lima are on Earth performing rituals of black magic in order to resurrect the evil ones. With the promise of immortality and power beyond belief, they are loyal to the demons that feed on their ego. The evil ones are an ancient group of negative energies that lie dormant in the most sinister parts of the universe, the darkest crevices of every human psyche. Goat-headed by nature, they solely exist to spread lies, destruction, and illusions of suffering. For over 2,000 years, the Order of the Lima have been unsuccessful. Unsuccessful until the soul of Aleister Crowley awakes from its slumber from within the darkest depths of the universe. He is the first human to commit the act of murder, the first dark wizard. Flash forward. The greatest good and the greatest evil are born simultaneously. Both Gaspard and Aleister find a vessel to reincarnate through. Aleister grows up to lead the Order of the Lima, forming his own inner sanctum within the society, consisting of only the darkest, most powerful wizards from across the land, the Illuminatis. Its mission being to successfully be the first to resurrect the evil ones in over 2,000 years. 2,000 years ago, a mysterious comet landed on the planet and became known to man as the Sacred Flame. The Sacred Flame can never be extinguished for reasons still unknown. Aleister and his henchmen Illuminatus plan to rediscover the flame, using its power to sacrificially burn alive the unknowing neophyte the Lemus, in an attempt to resurrect the evil ones by means of pleasing the Lords of Darkness. The spirit of Gaspard needs to travel through time once again in order to prevent the sacred flame from getting in the wrong hands, shatter the illusion of suffering casted over the lands, stop the evil ones in the spirit of Aleister Crowley, this time for good, meeting many friends and foes along the way. Life's about the journey, not the destination. Who knows what else occurs? And then, yeah, that's pretty much the summary of it, and all the details are in the book of lore. I don't want to like take up too many people's times, but like there's a lot more that I wrote, but it pretty much like goes into like the actual like journey and the story and like the different people he meets and like how his his familiar became like the familiar. Like in his hometown, there was I guess Aleister Crowley ended up being successful. I don't want to ruin it, but there was getting crushed by the rocks. So he had to transfer the soul of his best friend into the soul of the cat, and that's how he ended up with his familiar. So like all the details and all the rest of the lore in the book, but that's just what I wanted to share for now.
That was so good.
Thank you so much.
I love it.
Yeah, one thing I love about seeing you guys' writing is I can tell that you're having fun writing it. Like so many of you are just getting so deep into your lore. It's so detailed and you write with such depth and there's history behind everything you guys are writing. It's so great.
And I love this idea of establishing a checkpoint of your memories through the next life through a pyramid. I've been thinking a lot about this idea of like how memories might be like encoded in our DNA, of like how sort of you learn things from the people who came before you, and that gets encoded genetically and passed on, which maybe is even like a sort of like physical form of reincarnation. And so it's interesting to think about ways that you might be able to externalize that, and I think it's so interesting.
Oh, thank you so much.
Very cool. Awesome, guys. Okay, sorry we did not get to shout outs today. There were so many great stuff that you guys have been doing, 3D prints, awesome illustrations, voxel art. I still want to know what was happening with Basha Crypto, who had wizards like spread out on this table with like, it looked like breakfast. I'm so curious about that photo, but maybe we will get into it next week. Thanks again, everybody, for coming. This has been Wizard Wednesday with Elf
and Dota
and who else? Bear Snake, Loch Ness, Magus, Edward,
Oh.
Zela Soul, Crypto Natrix, everybody who spoke.